Okay. Get this set up on my other screen just so I can see what's going on. In case anything bad happens, I can refer to... Oh, I am just tanking my frames. Again, I'm just trying to get this stream opened up on my other computer so that I can watch if I have any really bad frame dips or something. Computer is just taking forever to do anything, though. Oh yeah, I did temp fix for the lack of music. I don't think this is what I'm going to be sticking with, but just to make something work, I don't know how to make music or anything, but I just slammed a bunch of MP3 files into Premiere, stitched them together, and well, I didn't even stitch them together because I didn't cut them apart to begin with. But anyway, I just slammed a bunch of them together, and I just made a playlist essentially. This computer is taking forever to load. I actually just ordered a new computer. So hopefully that will be back. Well, not back. Arrive before too long. So the delivery date should be between the 12th and the 17th, so I guess I'm stuck with this setup for another week probably, but the next week should be a different setup for the computer part at least. Okay. Finally got my other computer to respond. Okay, I think I have everything sorted. That looks terrible. I don't really know if there's a way. I'm going to try to adjust my light. I don't think that's much better, but it's not much worse either. All right. Let's give this a shot. Hopefully only the foil cards are going to appear as this mess of glare, but I have this sealed. This is just the precon as it ships. I'm going to take it apart, and if there's other people watching that want to give input, I welcome that. You might have better ideas about ratios than me, especially for non-creature spells. I tend to make either very creature-heavy decks or very creature-weak decks. Not really balanced in any way between creatures and non-creatures. Okay. So, I have some visual aids. Hopefully you can read them well enough. I did just write them in pencil. If they don't show up too well on the stream, I might use Sharpie to kind of bold them out a little bit. But when we're sorting through cards, I can put them in piles. I have possible commanders. I have a creatures pile. Utility pile, so things that the deck doesn't want to focus on, but maybe it wants to do a little bit of. For example, maybe this deck is going to be in black, so reanimation could go in utility. We got a lands pile, and we've got a rocks pile, so mana rocks, things that can help me ramp. I might include ramp in the rocks pile, especially because this is green, but in normal decks that don't, or in normal colors that don't really ramp, like for example red, I would probably just put my mana rocks in the rocks pile. So I'm actually going to have the piles out of view of the camera, but when I need to move them into the camera because we're talking about something, then I can just look for my label and slap it out there. I could have made a PowerPoint for this, but I was in a bit of a rush because I just had the idea like, oh, I could just make some tags and move them around. So it was my spur of the moment idea that I didn't really think through. I just had what I thought was a pretty decent idea, and I kind of just went for it. So we've got Hazel, we've got the Odd Acorn Gang, that's cool. There's a Garrick reprint in here, Garrick the Cursed Hunter. But there's only two choices for the commander in the precon. So let's take a look at them. So Hazel of the Rot Bloom. Whoa, that is too shiny and too glary. It is a 4-drop for a 3/5. I like the power toughness. It's pretty hard to remove. Tap it, pay 2 life, tap X untapped tokens you control, add X mana in any combination of colors. At the beginning of your unstep, create a token that's a copy of target token you control. If that token is a squirrel, instead create 2 tokens that are copies of it. Okay, so you get to... It's almost like a populate effect, but it doesn't have the same wording, so... Interesting. Okay. Odd Acorn Gang. 5-drop for a 5/5. Menace, Trample, Reach. Squirrels you control have tap. Target squirrel gets +2/+2 and gains Trample until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. And whenever one or more squirrels you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. I would say that of these two, Hazel sounds like the better commander. But Odd Acorn Gang sounds fine to run in the 99. The ability to give your stronger squirrels trample by tapping your weaker squirrels sounds pretty good. You do have to do it as a sorcery, though, so there's a bit of a problem there. I would say if I find something better, I could see myself cutting that. So for right now, for our possible commanders, we have Hazel or the Odd Acorn Gang. So they're going to go in the commander pile, and I'm going to move that off the screen for now. Thinking Hazel. I actually think Hazel has quite a bit of utility because you don't need to target a squirrel. You could target a food token or a treasure token. The ability to choose what kind of token you are going to be copying is great. And I guess, yeah, I think Populate only targets a creature token. So this is kind of like Populate, but with any type of token. And if you do happen to choose a squirrel token, then it's double Populate instead of just one. I might need to grab some piles of cards, but I can do that in a minute. These are some of the rares that I pulled in the Bloomburrow box. Not the collector box, just the box. I actually already sorted most of the collector box stuff, but I know where it is. So I remembered pulling another legendary squirrel, Camellia, the Seed Miser. Let's see what that does again. I don't remember. It's a 3-drop for a 3/3 menace. Other squirrels you control have menace. I immediately like that almost more than I like tapping my creatures to give my other creatures trample. Whenever you sacrifice one or more foods, generate a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. I also like that a lot. 2 and forage, put a 1/1 counter on each other squirrel you control. I think in terms of commander abilities, I like Camellia's ability more than Odd Acorn Gangs. So I'm going to go ahead. Here's our commander pile again. We're going to add Camellia into the list of contenders for commander, and we can revisit that stack later. Anything else in here? Here's a squirrel. Osteomancer Adept. It is 2 for a 2/2 with Death Touch. Tap it until end of turn. You may cast creature spells from your graveyard by foraging in addition to paying their other costs. If you cast a spell this way, that creature enters with a finality counter on it. I think that sounds pretty good for just like grasp, like, what's the word I'm looking for? If you are trying to grasp for a win and you have something in your graveyard that can give you that win, that's really good for just recurring for that one turn. Finality is only when it dies, then it gets exiled, but I am going to assume that whatever you bring back is going to get either countered or just completely nullified in some way. Valley Rockcaller, 2 for a 1/3 menace. When it attacks, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of other squirrels, bats, lizards, and rats you control. The other creature types don't matter so much. The fact that it's squirrels, that's good. So if it attacks, it's on the field. So you're going to be gaining 1 life, and everybody else is going to be losing 1 life, at the very least, if you swing with it. So that can go in the creature pile too. That is something that I think would be great to run. Let's see. I'm going to put Garrick in utility for now. The alt is really good. Creatures you control get +3/+3 and have trample. Yikes. It's an emblem, so it's hard to get rid of. I don't love that it makes wolves, because wolves are not squirrels. I know that's a crazy statement. Very bold of me to assume that my wolves are not squirrels, but mechanically they are not, unfortunately. So I might run it, but that would be pretty early on the cut list. If I really would rather run something different, I probably would run something over a token generator that makes wolves rather than squirrels. Chittering Witch, 4-drop for a 2/2. When it enters, create a number of 1/1 black rat creature tokens equal to the number of opponents you have. Sacrifice a creature. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. I'm just going to cut that immediately. That is running with rats. I'm not playing with rats in the deck. I'm only playing with squirrels. Don't need to read this. I can see that it is a rat and its creature type. Goodbye. Rat. Goodbye. Swarmyard Massacre, 5 with 2 black in its cost. Create 2 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. Then each creature that isn't an insect, rat, spider, or squirrel each gets a -1/-1 until end of turn for each creature you control that's an insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. That sounds like it could be a very effective one-sided board wipe, and it goes through things like hexproof and indestructible. That is definitely going to go in utility. Hazel's Brewmaster, 4 for a 3/4. Squirrel Warlock with Menace. Whenever Hazel's Brewmaster enters or attacks, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. Okay. I like that it's a graveyard, not your graveyard. It's just any graveyard. That's pretty good. And create a food token. Foods you control have all activated abilities of all creature cards exiled with Hazel's Brew. That's going to go in the deck for sure. So we'll put that in the creature pile. We like our pile. Woe Strider. It's a horror. White goat creature. No. It's not a squirrel, so it's just getting cut immediately. Saw in half. 3 for an instant, destroy target creature. If that creature dies this way, its controller creates 2 tokens that are copies of that creature, except their power is half that creature's power, and their toughness is half that creature's toughness. Round up each time. That sounds excellent, actually. I'm going to go ahead and put that in utility. Ogre Slumlord is an awesome card, but it makes rats. And I'm not dealing with rats. I'm only dealing with squirrels. Decree of Pain. Decree of Pain. Decree of Pain is a pretty good card. You get to cycle it as well. When you cycle it, all creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. I think I'm going to pass on it for now. I know where it is if I want it back, but it doesn't really fit what I'm going for. Gormon's Talon. 1 mana for an enchantment. During your turn, artifacts you control are foods in addition to their other types and have 2 colorless. Tap, sacrifice this artifact, you gain 3 life. So all artifacts are foods, essentially. Whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, create a 3/3 raccoon creature token. Whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. I like the last ability. I don't really care about the middle ability with making raccoon tokens. A raccoon token is unfortunately not a squirrel token. So I'm going to put that to the side for now. I might go back for it later, but I really want to focus on squirrels and things that make squirrel tokens. Rootcast Apprenticeship. 1/1s. Create a token that's a copy of target token you control. Oh, this is only a 4-drop. Target player creates a 1/1 green squirrel. Target opponent sacrifices a non-token artifact. I think that's pretty good. That can be artifact hate. Like, you could make 3 opponents each sacrifice an artifact. Sacrifice can get through things like Shroud or Hexproof because it's your opponent doing it, not you. It's a little bit pricier than a Disenchant. Or like a Fade into Antiquity. But a Fade into it, well, they're the same sorcery speed, so whatever. I might put that as a maybe for utility. It sounds okay. It just doesn't sound amazing. Scurry of Squirrels. 3 for a 2/2. Myriad. Yeah, I remember this one. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. So the idea is you attack whoever, and you get 2 token copies of this creature attacking. Do they get exiled at end stop? Oh, at the end of combat, actually. If they got exiled at the end step instead of end of combat, I think that would be better if I wanted to use Hazel. But Myriad is good. No one's going to feel singled out if you have a creature with Myriad because you're swinging with one creature that's hitting the whole board. So, I would put that in my creature pile. End-Raise Forerunners. 8 for a 7/7 Vigilant Trample Haste. When it enters, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance and Trample until end of turn. That sounds like a great finisher. I could just run an Overrun instead, though. It's cheaper, and it's not as expensive. Wait, that's the same thing. It's not as expensive mana-wise, so I feel like it might be a little bit better. Arstara of the Endless Web, 4 for a 3/5 Spider. Reach. Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spider creature token with Reach. I don't want to run this card in this deck, but I will definitely run it in a different deck. Deep Forest Hermit. Speaking of spiders, dang, that's a big spider on the ground. I'm actually going to go check it out. Give me like 1 minute. It's a wolf spider. It's about the size of a nickel. Pretty big wolf spider for a wolf spider. Deep Forest Hermit, 5 for a 1/1. Vanishing 3. Vanishing is a fun mechanic. When it enters, create 4 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens, and squirrels you control get +1/+1. So it anthems squirrels, and you also make a whole bunch of squirrels when it comes out. The problem is it's not going to stick around forever because it's vanishing. If I had some way to proliferate the vanishing counters, it could stay on the field as an anthem. But I actually think that the squirrel tokens it makes, it's probably just makes it worth running. Toski, Bearer of Secrets. I love this card. 4 for a 1/1. Cannot be countered. Indestructible. It attacks every combat if it can. And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Yes. That goes in the creature pile. That 100%. Run Toski if you can. Wonderful for hand advantage. It's a great one. Now Toski is legendary, but it doesn't have black in its color identity, so it's not going to go into the commander contender pile. Beastmaster Ascension. Ooh, this is a good one too, isn't it? Whenever a creature you control attacks, you may put a quest counter on Beastmaster Ascension. As long as Beastmaster Ascension has 7 or more quest counters on it, creatures you control get +5/+5. I see absolutely no reason not to run this because this deck wants to turn sideways, so that can go in utility. Second Harvest. For each token you control, create a token that's a copy of that permanent. It's a 4-drop. I think that sounds pretty good. We'll put it in for now. I might want to cut it for something else, but that sounds great. Shamanic Revelation. 5-drop. Draw a card for each creature you control, and you gain 4 life for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. That sounds pretty good. It sounds like, what is it? There's another green card that lets you draw a card for each creature you control. I cannot remember what it is. I know Harmonize just lets you draw 5. No, it's a 5-drop and it lets you draw 3 cards. Which is nice. But this would probably get net more than 3 cards because I'm hopefully going to have a ton of token creatures. That's the idea, at least. I think Shamanic Revelations can go in for now. I might take it away later. Chatterfang, Squirrel General. I didn't know this deck just came with Chatterfang. 3-drop, 3/3, Forest Walk. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens are created instead. Tap 1 black, sacrifice X squirrels, target creature gets +X -X until end of turn. That's also a possible commander because it has green in its cost and it has black in its ability, so it has black in its color identity. So we're going to put that in the commander contender pile. Casualty of War, choose 1 or more, destroy target artifact, target creature, target enchantment, target land, target planeswalker. That's a little bit expensive at 6. It does destroy 5 different permanents, though, and you get to pick. It doesn't get around a lot, but it also doesn't lock you down to 1 player. You could destroy person A's artifact. You could destroy person B's creature, person C's enchantment, person B's land, because they've got like a thespian stage on the field or something. And person A's Chandra that's about to ult and hit everybody for too much damage. I like the ability to choose different targets. I think it might be okay to run. I'm going to set it to the side for now, though, because I do think there might be better options for me. Windgrace's Judgment, 5-drop instant. For any number of opponents, destroy any number of non-land permanents. For any number of opponents, destroy target non-land permanent that player controls. I thought it said for any number of opponents, destroy any number of permanents they control. I was about to say, that's nuts. That is the most one-sided board wipe I can think of. Yeah, I mean, this is just one cheaper than the last one, and it sort of achieves the same thing. Plus, it's at instant speed. I think Windgrace's Judgment might be a little bit better than Casualties of War. So that can go in utility. Maskwood Nexus, creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. Interesting. It also lets me make 2/2 blue shapeshifter creature tokens, and the creature tokens have Changeling. Oh, there's actually people in here. I'm going to see if the music works. My jank setup for my music. Let's see if that works at all. I don't want it to be too loud. Just kind of want a little bit of background music. Been making RuneScape content, so RuneScape music it is. I'm going to set that to the side for now. Academy Manufacturer, if you would create a clue, food, or treasure token, instead create one of each. I do think that sounds great, but I don't really think clues or treasure tokens are that useful for this deck. How many things are actually letting me make food tokens right now? Hazel's Brewmaster is making food tokens. When it enters or attacks, you exile up to one target card from a graveyard and create a food token. That's one food token generator. And that's it. I only have one thing making food tokens. There's still more of the deck to go through because we're in the top at the rares. So there's still plenty to go through. I'm going to set that to the side for now. It might be worth running. It might not be worth running. And we'll find out. Temple of Malady is great. I like Scrying. Woodland Cemetery. I like check lands. That's great. Necro Blossom Snarl enters. You may reveal a swamp or forest. Yeah, that's good. That's fine. Oran Reef, the Vastwood. Most of the squirrel tokens that I generate will be green. So it might be worth running that. But I think there's also better options. Swarmyard, tap to regenerate target insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. I mean, that does sound nice. If something's about to die, I can just regen it. Exotic Orchard is excellent. Llanowar Wastes, I can find a better land than that. Grim Backwoods, sacrifice creatures to draw cards. Yeah. Viridescent Bog. Not good as a first land, but great as a second land. Twilight Mire, that's a filter land. Love those. Gilded Goose. One for an 0/2 flyer. When it enters, create a food token. Hey, we like those. You can also tap mana to make food tokens, or sacrifice foods and tap it to add mana. I think simply as a food token generator, this is worth running, even though it's not a squirrel. I'm going to put it in the creature pile for now. I might decide to cut it later. At the beginning of your upkeep... Oh, this is Chitter Spitter. 3-drop with 1 green. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice a token. If you do, put an acorn counter on Chitter Spitter. Excuse me. Squirrels you control get +1/+1 for each acorn counter on Chitter Spitter. And it makes green squirrel creature tokens. That sounds like excellent utility. Ooh, Maelstrom Pulse. I know that one. Destroy target non-land permanent and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent. That wipes tokens, I believe. It's not as good in Commander since it's a singleton permanent. A singleton format. But if you're fighting a deck that's like Templar Knights or Relentless Rats, I know about Relentless Rats. I'm trying to make the Relentless Rats deck. But it's really good in those situations, but otherwise I think it's just a Doomblade that costs 1 more mana. Or a Putrefy. I guess this is target non-land permanent. So it can target enchantments or artifacts or whatever, really. Might be worth running. I'm just going to set it to the side for now. Beladros Witherbloom. 7-drop for a 4/4. Elder Dragon with flying. There it goes. At the beginning of your upkeep... Oh, of each upkeep, excuse me, not just yours. Create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with... When this creature dies, you gain 1 life. Pay 10, untap all lands you control, activate only once each turn. I think that could be a fun utility creature to run, but it's not a squirrel and it's not making me food tokens, so we're going to set it to the side for now. Idol of Oblivion, 2 colorless artifact. Tap to draw a card, activate only if you created a token this turn. Well, we're hopefully going to be making tokens all the time. 8 tap sack Idol of Oblivion, create a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. Unfortunately, Mr. Eldrazi, you are not a squirrel, so goodbye. Sword of the Squeak. 2 for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control with base power or toughness 1. Whenever a hamster, mouse, rat, or squirrel you control enters, you may attach Sword of the Squeak to that creature. I mean, all the squirrel tokens will have power toughness of 1. Tusky has power toughness 1. Deep Forest Hermit is a 1/1, but he dies, so I shouldn't even count him in the count. I'll set it to the side. It might be okay to run. Morbid Opportunist, 3 for a 1/3. Whenever 1 or more creatures dies, draw a card, and this ability triggers only once each turn. I don't like that it triggers only once. There's better options. Plague Crafter, meh. Nadir's Nightblade. I mean, I am going to be cycling through a lot of tokens, but there might just be better options. I'll set it aside for now. Plum the Forgotten. No, Forbidden, not the Forgotten. 2 for an instant speed spell. As an addition to cast a spell, you may sacrifice 1 or more creatures. When you do, copy this spell for each creature you sacrifice this way. Draw a card, lose a life. That does sound nice. Especially if you have a lot of fodder to sacrifice. Might run it. Gonna set it to the side for now, though. Bastion of Remembrance. When it enters, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. You gain a life. So it's Aristocrat on a enchantment. Cash grab. That's going in there. Chatterstorm, yes. Chatterstorm is great. It's just a 2-drop sorcery. Create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token, and it's got Storm. So I might need to find some 0-drops to put in the deck just to enable Chatterstorm to do its thing. Moldervine Reclamation. Whenever a creature you control dies, you gain 1 life and draw a card. You see, that I like that one way better than the other one. Drawing cards is way fun. We'll put that in utility for now. It's not the best thing ever, but it's pretty good. Ravenous Squirrel. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact or creature, put a 1/1 counter on Ravenous Squirrel. Tap 1 colorless and a Golgari. Sacrifice an artifact or creature. You gain 1 life and draw a card. It's kind of like Salvaging Ooze, but instead of exiling cards out of your graveyard, you're sacrificing things off the field. So you can only target your field. It's a 1-drop. It's a 1/1. I think that's fine to run in creatures. Skyfisher Spider, not a squirrel. I don't actually even want to read it. Binding the Old Gods. Destroy a target non-land permanent an opponent controls for step 1. Search your library for a forest card, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Creatures you control gain Death Touch until end of turn at the last. I think there's better enchantments that I can put in here. So, Golgari Rat Farm, that's a land I like. Jungle Hollow's okay. Haunted Mire is pretty nice. There's better things than Haunted Mire, but the fact that it's a dual land is good. It also has its own types, so it's swamp and forest rather than just a non-basic land with no basic land typing. Nested Shambler. When Nested Shambler dies, create X tapped 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens where X is Nested Shambler's power. Yes, please. It makes squirrel tokens. Deadly Dispute. Should I do that? Drawing 2 cards and making a treasure. Sounds okay. Let's not. Zulaport Cutthroat. I'm not running that. Squirrel Sovereign. Other squirrels you control get +1/+1. Yes, please. Prosperous Innkeeper. When it enters, create a treasure token. Whenever another creature you control enters, gain 1 life. Nah. Haywire Might. 1 for a 1/1. Insect. It's an artifact as well. When it dies, you gain 2 life. Sacrifice it. Exile target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. Some pretty nice utility. Not good enough, though. Whenever a land you control enters, create a food token or a treasure. I'm going to put that in for sure. It's not a squirrel, but it's a way to generate a ton of food tokens. Squirrel Nest. Enchant land. Enchanted land has tap. Create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. Yes, please. I can go in utility. Honored Dray Leader. I remember pulling this card. I think it's great. 3 for a 1/1 trampler. When it enters, put a 1/1 counter on it for each other squirrel and or food you control. So if you just have a field full of squirrel tokens and you play this thing, you could pay 3 for like an 8/8 with trample. Nuts. Get it? Because they're squirrels. Nuts. That was a bad joke. Haha. Terra Sunder. 2-drop, exile target artifact or enchantment. If this spell was kicked, exile target non-land permanent instead. So you can exile a creature if you need to. I'd say that's pretty good. I like it. It's instant speed, and it lets me pick just about anything if I'm willing to pay the mana. Wolf Willow Haven. Enchant land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional green. And I can also tap 5, sacrifice it, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. And you can only use that ability during your turn. Putrefy, like that one. Arcane Signet, add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. That can go in Mana Rock pile. We like that. Golgari Signet, Talisman of Resilience. It's cheap. I don't love the fact that it pings you for 1 if you're tapping it for colored mana, but if you're just using it for the colorless mana, it's fine. Hey, it came with the Soul Ring. Lovely. Skull Clamp sounds great. That can go in utility. Terramorphic Expanse. Terramorphic Expanse. Do I want to run that? I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I could run a Terramorphic Expanse. I could run 1. I could also run a Fetch. Path of Ancestry enters tapped. Add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. When that mana is spent to cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with your commander, scribe 1. I mean, that just... That sounds fine. I've run this land before. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I already have a Terramorphic Expanse, so I think I'll pass on Evolving Wilds. Command Tower, yes. Tranquil Thicket, nah. Yes, Bojuka Bog. Tainted Wood sounds good. Activate it only if you control a swamp. Sure. Yeah, I like that. I don't care about the cycling lands too much. And the rest is just basics. And tokens. Yeah. Just tokens. Okay. Let's claw through some of the stuff that I have set to the side. Overgrown Tomb, Shockland, that'll go in lands. I put a different Overgrown Tomb. I had an art that I preferred that I put in a different deck. So I pulled that one and put the other one in. Let's see. There's no ramp spells here, which is a bit sad. Since this is Golgari colors, I think I might want to run a Tomb. Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. I had an extra one, again. I think I have a Chinese copy, too. There's no ramp in here. Here's 2 ramp options I had. Traverse the Outlands. Search your library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. Put those cards onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. The problem with this one that I see is that it sort of relies on you to have a bigger creature. Granted, even if you're paying 5 to search for 3 lands, that sounds fine. It's just, I feel like tapping out to just do that, it's a little bit too much. Viewpoint synchronization. Depending on the commander that I'm running, I probably wouldn't be swinging with a commander like Hazel. I'm probably never going to attack with Hazel. I need it to stay alive, and I need it to duplicate tokens. Shatterfang, if I can get out Yavimia. Is it Yavimia? The green Urborg, the one that makes all lands forests. It has Forest Walk right there up at the top, Forest Walk. So if I can get out Yavimia... Oh, come on. Focus better. If I can get out Yavimia, I'm going to be swinging with Chatterfang. I'm going to be hitting somebody with Chatterfang over and over and over again. And that would let me play this Viewpoint Synchronization for its free running cost. And it's pretty valuable. Put 2 of them into the battlefield tapped and the other into your hand. Yeah. They do have to be basic lands, and again, that's the problem. I might want to run something like Farseek just so I can search out Overgrown Tomb. But I do think Viewpoint Synchronization might be good if I am going to go with Chatterfang for the general. Or the commander. He is the general. What else is in this pile in my hand? I think Primal Vigor might be fun to run. I'm making tons of tokens. I'm making some 1/1s, and I'm doubling it for everybody. So if I can generate more value, then it might be okay to have. I don't think I'm making enough. I mean, Honored Dray Leader's getting tons of 1/1 counters on him. But I'm not really trying to focus on 1/1 counters. I'm more trying to focus on food tokens and squirrel tokens. And that right. Since I'm focusing on creature tokens, it's probably going to be a good thing to run for the common good. I'm trying to think of a reason to put Innkeeper's Talent in this deck as well. The Ward 1 is actually really... It's sort of silly that it's useful in the way it is, because it's going to protect enchantments that I have that are getting counters on them pretty well because of the Ward. Scavenger's Talent's probably great to run too. Whenever a creature, whenever one or more creatures you control dies, create a food token, and this ability triggers only once each turn. So if you can kill one creature every turn by sacrificing it to something, then you can just get a bunch of food tokens. I think that sounds great. I think I would want to run Scavenger's Talent, and for the common good. I'm still a little iffy on Primal Vigor since it's also benefiting your opponent. Anything else in here? Forager. And this is 2 for a 2/2 mana dork that lets you tutor out squirrels. I think that sounds good. Run that in creature pile. I'm gonna check some artifacts that I have lying on the table. I don't really think there's anything that I'd want to run in here. Candy Trail might be kind of funny because it's a food, and I could sacrifice it as such. Oof. And when it enters, you scry 2, so you basically just pay 1 to scry 2, and then you have a food on field. I don't think it's super valuable to do that. But if I can't find much more food support, I might resort to it. Hmm. Still just kind of looking through some artifacts. I don't really have any enlightening thoughts to share. Trying to find more stuff that can make food. Any suggestions? I have whole 2 viewers. I know one of them is my other computer. It's a good one. I think I pulled a patchwork banner would work well in here. Comes from the set. It's thematic. I think I have a foil one though, so I want to find that one first. This is kind of an interesting anthem because it has flash. 4-drop. When it comes into play, choose a creature type. Creatures of the chosen type get +1/+1. Do you like creature-based anthems? Because most of my decks are tribals. Nothing outstanding there. Non-basics. There's a few more things over here that I missed. There's a Squirrel from the set. Offspring generates a creature token, so that's pretty good. And when it enters, you can forage. If you do, put 2 1/1 counters on it. Copying the creature would not let me pay the offspring, but it would. The creature would enter. The copy of the creature token would enter, so I would have an opportunity to forage again. Which, I mean, it can go in the pile. It can go in the creature pile. It's a squirrel. It's pretty much all it needs to be right now. I'll have to cut through a little bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? A little bit more aggressively later. Thinking Oak Hollow Village might be worth running because I can get 1/1 counters on my Squirrels. I liked Corpseberry Cultivator. I thought that sounded pretty good. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may forage. Whenever you forage, put a 1/1 counter on Corpseberry Cultivator. It's already 3 for a 2/3, and if you can forage a couple times while it's on the field, it gets pretty big, so... Bonebind Orator, another squirrel. I mentioned before that I really like the fact it has an ability that you activate from grave. Daggerfang Duo. It is a rat, but it is also a squirrel. 3 for a 3/2 Death Toucher. And when it comes into play, mill 2. Sounds good to me. Hazel's Nocturne seems interesting. If you're milling yourself quite a bit, then a little bit of creature recursion and gaining life. I think I might put that in utility for now. Might cut it later, but for now I think it's fine. Heaped Harvest. Oops. Heaped Harvest definitely has to go in. That's great. For this deck especially. I think I'll just stick Primal Vigor in there for now, too. Why not? I think Parallel Lives might be better. In fact, running both of them might be absolutely fine. Trying to find the other squirrel duo. I'm pretty sure there is one. Oh, I kind of changed my mind about Bonecash Overseer. I thought it was pretty good, but it has to be both of those things that have happened. You have to have 3 or more cards leave your graveyard this turn and sacrifice a food. I thought it was one or the other. There's better ways to get card. Mudflat Village. I think that's pretty good too. Don't really know what to say. It's recursion if I need it. Or graveyard retrieval, rather. Really not finding that much in here. I thought, oh yeah, this is Bloomburrow. There's tons of squirrels in here. I think I have a scurry oak from MH2 somewhere. Trying to use Surveil in this deck might be better than not trying to use Surveil. Here's one. Vine Reap Mentor. When it enters or dies, create a food token. Sounds good enough to me. Ah, here it is. Baker's Bane Duo, 2 for a 2/2. When it enters, create a food token, and whenever you expend 4, it gains +1/+1 until end of turn. I think that is definitely worth running, simply because when it enters, you make a food token. It could do nothing else, and I would want to run it. This might be good, too, because it lets me pack my graveyard and get a bunch of cards in hand. I could look at the top 4... I could pay 7 for X. Look at the top 14 cards of the library, put 7 into my hand, lose 7 life, and just chuck the rest in the grave. If I need a new hand or something. Curious Forager, 3 for a 3/2. When it enters, you may forage, and if you do, return target permanent card from grave to hand. That's lovely. Treetop Sentries. That's a squirrel. It's got reach, 4 for a 2/4. And when it enters, you can forage, and if you do forage, you draw a card. I like it. I like it just fine. I think it's pretty good. Pretty alright. This sounds excellent. Feed the Cycle, 2-drop with 1 black in it. As an additional cost to cast the spell, forage or pay 1 additional black. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. We like that. I think I need to find a board wipe or 2, but I mean, I'm running black, so it shouldn't be hard to find a board wipe that I want to run. Paw Patch Formation. Here's a good one. 1 colorless, 1 green. Instant speed, choose 1, destroy target creature with flying, destroy target enchantment, or draw a card and create a food token. That is going straight into the pile. Running out of commons and uncommons from Bloomburrow. Peerless Recycling might be worth playing. I know I think I said I didn't love it, but getting 2 things out of your grave in black is... I mean, there's a lot of other cards that do it, but it's good to have it on multiple things, so... Might be a support. Good utility card. Gonna glance through the foils. There's Patchwork Banner. It's so shiny. I think I saw some of those other ones. Bonebind Oracle. Dire Sight. Feed the Cycle. Yeah, I'll run them in foil if I've got them in foil. There we go. Okay. Gonna grab another stack of cards. Hello. I'm having trouble thinking of cards that I can put in. Let me quickly run through what is here so far. I haven't chose a commander yet. There are, for commanders, there are 4 options. We have Chatterfang out of MH2. There is Camellia the Seed Miser. There's Hazel of the Rot Bloom and the Odd Acorn Gang. I think Hazel is better if I just want to copy my Squirrel tokens, but I think if I just want to go full aggro, Chatterfang might be better, because I can spot remove by sacrificing a bunch of Squirrel tokens and just getting rid of somebody's threat. For example, if they have Avacyn on the field, I can just sacrifice 8 Squirrels and give Avacyn +8, -8 until end of turn, and then she falls over because she doesn't have any more toughness. And then all of their other creatures can also die. I mean, regardless of which commander I actually pick, I think it would be useful to run the other 3 in the 99. With the exception of possibly the Odd Acorn Gang, I don't really see its ability being too strong. Its second ability, whenever 1 or more Squirrels you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. That is just strictly worse than Toski's ability. Because Toski's ability is whenever any of your creatures lands a hit, you get to draw a card. There's Toski. I suppose the Odd Acorn Gang itself is a pretty strong creature, and this deck doesn't really have very many creatures with high power toughness. The idea is more to build up their power rather than to just have high power when they're cast. So I think in order of preference, Odd Acorn Gang is probably at the end. I don't think I want to make that the commander. I think Hazel is pretty good. I think Camellia is really good, and I think Chatterfang is also... I think these three are all really solid choices. And I think the Odd Acorn Gang is just kind of the the odd one out here. But I might still run it in 99 just because it gives striking ability end game. Since you can have your weaker squirrels tap to give your stronger squirrels trample. But other than that, I think I might just stick with Hazel for now. We'll say Hazel's our commander. We'll put the other three in the 99 in the creature pile. But for now, let's just go with Hazel. If Chatterfang gave all of your squirrels Forest Walk as well, I think the correct answer would be Chatterfang. But it doesn't. Camellia is pretty good because it gives all your other squirrels Menace. And having access to that whenever I want would be nice. The token generation, having access to that is also nice. But I think Hazel's token generation is just a little bit better. It's not that this one's bad, it's just the other one is better. Check the other stack of foils from Bloomburrow. I got a lot of foils from the collector box, so there's Cash Grab in foil. Let's run a fun Cash Grab. $25 utility cards. That sounds like a lot. I might need to cut some of them. I do think that it's possible that a lot of my squirrel tokens are going to be coming from my utility cards, so it might be okay to just run a couple less creatures since my utility cards are going to be generating tokens. So... there's a foil Dagger Fang duo. And a foil Heaped Harvest. We'll run those. Ooh, and a foil Honored Dray Leader. I'll run that. Why wouldn't I? If it's shiny, that means it's better. I guess. That was running Stargaze. Nothing new. I did think it would be kind of fun to run this card, because most of my creatures are going to be a bunch of little 1/1 tokens. But if I can get the emblem and make all of my creatures base power 9/9, that'd be pretty funny. I don't think I'm going to be able to run that many artifacts in the deck, though, so it might not be worth it. In that pile. Maybe some non-basics. That would be fun to use. Just kind of looking through cards right now. Hoping to possibly be struck by inspiration. Or good suggestions. This is a bunch of rares here. Maybe they can help. You know what? I want to see exactly the wording on Academy Manufacturer. It might be worth running after all. If you would create a clue, food, or treasure token, instead create one of each. No. It's not worded the way I was hoping it was worded. I was hoping it would be worded whenever you create a token. Also create a food, a clue, and a treasure. That's it. I don't think Hardened Scales is going to be worth putting in there. I'm not really... I don't make tons of 1/1 counters. I only have a couple things that do that. unfortunate. Might have to dig through some of my other boxes. Wrong colors for that one. There's a Parallel Lives. Finally found one. Thought I had one laying around. Good. I'm glad somebody likes the music. I don't know how long ago you put that comment in. Hopefully it wasn't too long. I actually, for some reason, can't hear the music playing. So it was just kind of a shot in the dark that this is the right volume level. Anything helpful there? I think Parallel Lives should help a lot. Might have to dig way back into Return to Ravnica or whatever the second Ravnica set was called to find mono green cards that also populate. Dark Tutelage is probably good. Gives me a little bit more card advantage. I feel like there just aren't very many support cards for Squirrels. I mentioned Scurry Oak. I'm pretty sure I do have a copy of that. I'd have to dig for it. I'm just kind of going through cards that I have. I can replace non-foil. I'm just kind of trying to go through cards that are near me at the moment. I like 2 out of the 3 abilities on Return from the Wilds. It's a 3-drop with a green. Choose 2, search your library for a basic land card, put that onto the battlefield, and create a food token. Those would be the two modes that I would choose every single time. Don't think that's a bad thing. Then I'll pull out the boxes. Ugh. If I had instant speed, it would be perfect. Might still put it in there, though, because it does work pretty well. So many non-creature spells, though. Time to go digging. Oh, wait. One more stack of rares. Could run a Bird of Paradise because I'm in green. Could do that. Don't think it's worth it though. Those are way better in mono-colored decks. Yeah, Shifting Woodland should be good in here. Shifting Woodland enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a forest. Tap to add a green. It also has a Delirium cost of 2 colorless, 2 green. Shifting Woodland becomes a copy of target permanent card in your graveyard until end of turn. Activate only if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard. I think that sounds really good. And it's in the land slot. So it doesn't even take a utility spot up. Three Tree City is also definitely worth running. It is going to always produce more mana than the other one, Nykthos, could produce in this deck. Because most of my creatures aren't going to have a color identity or a mana cost to even count devotion with. Okay, that might be kind of funny. They're not very expensive though. I thought maybe I could run Urza's Incubator. Urza's Incubator makes you choose a creature type, and creature spells you control cost 2 less. Just don't really think that's necessary, because most of the squirrels are pretty cheap. More foil rares here too. I don't think I need to run Bat Bob in a deck. Okay. Igra. Thinking Igra might definitely be worth putting in here. I thought it read creatures your opponents control are food artifacts in addition, but no. It says other creatures. That means all creatures. All my crappy 1/1 squirrel tokens, they're all food. And where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where did it go? Yeah. Whenever you sacrifice 1 or more foods, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. So, if I make a token and then I have a way to sacrifice it to Igra, I will get a 1/1 counter on Igra, and I will get another squirrel token from Camellia, because the squirrel token was also a food. I guess I get 2 1/1 counters. Yeah, I should run Igra in this deck, definitely. I just sort of realized that would happen. I don't think Igra is commander quality. It's a little bit sad that Igra is not a squirrel. I know, we're splitting hairs here, but let me come through here, see how many slots I have left for cards. Did I not put Stargaze in here? I thought Stargaze sounded good. Let's put Stargaze in there then. utility. Yeah. Fabled Passage might be okay to run. I'm just really annoyed that it's a basic land, but at the same time, it's a fetch that gets it untapped. So, arguably, it's pretty great. Fifteen, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 non-basic lands, though. Of those 23, there are 1, 2... two of them. Two of them that have basic land typing. I also want to put Yavimia in here. I think the only Yavimia I have left is Insurance. It's okay. Okay. Starting with some boxes. Not unopened boxes. Sorting boxes. Stuff over my boxes. Okay. What's this then? I think this might be rares or foils. One or the other. Check the pictures to see if I recognize anything that I need. Foil. Hey, look, Scurry Oak. There it is. It's just in Chinese. Well, at least I can read the picture. I would need to know exactly what it does so I could put a note in there. I think it's every time it either has Defender or Reach. I don't remember which. No, it has Evolve. That's right. Okay, so Scurry Oak has Evolve, and whenever you put a 1/1 counter on Scurry Oak, you create a 1/1 Squirrel token. That's it. It's the parenthetical here that helped me remember that it was Evolve, because I can't read very much Chinese, but that says basically 1 add 1/1, or no, Iga +1/+1, and the only thing that you add, because that's what, well, I mean, it's not add, Iga is just one of 1/1. So it has to be Evolve. It has to be Evolve. I figured it out by process of elimination. There's not very many more keywords that would do that. So if I find an English copy, I'll put the English copy in there as well. But I have my Chinese copy as a placeholder. Maybe I should sort my... I might want to also resort and sort by color as well. I might also have I think Chatter of the Squirrel also got reprinted in Modern Horizons 2. And I did buy Modern Horizons 2. Actually got 2 boxes, one in English, one in Chinese. Check. See. I'll just go through all of it, whatever. Well, Chatter of the Squirrel isn't in the foils, so I'll have to go back. Ooh, I've got a way prettier command tower in here. Put that in a different deck, though. Gotta check something real quick. Doesn't look like I have that card in foil. I'll have to dig out my box for green. So I'll do that in just a second. I think I might also look some cards up on Gatherer. I don't know if I can make it show up on the screen. I didn't add that to my streaming software before I started, so I think I might have to end the stream before I can add that, so that's just going to have to be something that I remember to do next time if I need to look cards up. So, lesson learned, I guess. MTG Gatherer. Advanced. And I'll just search for contains the word squirrel. This should help me find, well, help me know where to look for in my larger collection. Rules text. Squirrel. Search. Acorn catapult. Acorn harvest. Chatter of the squirrel. Jumpstart historic what? Historic Horizons. Huh. Cloakwood Hermit. Ooh. Cloakwood Hermit. Probably have that. I have. It's from Battle for Baldur's Gate. I've bought a lot of Battle for Baldur's Gate because I'm trying to get a bronze dragon, I think, or a copper dragon, the red one. Okay. Let's see. It's a 3-drop. So we're looking for 3C. Gonna be in here somewhere. That's a B. H. Clear. Clear shot. Flinging Miss. Cloakwood Hermit. Perfect. 3-drop enchantment. Commander creatures you own have at the beginning of your end step. If a creature card was put into your graveyard from anywhere this turn, create 2 tapped 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. I like having more access to tokens. Oops. One of my sorting doodads got crushed a little bit. Cloakwood Hermit. There it is. All right. Cloakwood Hermit is a pretty good one to have. Deep Forest Hermit, it came with that. Deranged Hermit, ooh. I don't think I have that one. That's a rare, and it's a little older. It was reprinted in Vintage Masters. Ooh, that sounds like an expensive set. Draykeeper. When it enters, create 2. I'm almost positive I have a Draykeeper. That's in multicolor, though. Let me go find my multicolor box. Multicolor box. This one is lands. Lands, yeah. Colorless and multicolored. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Okay. Draykeeper is a 5-drop. It is in blue and... not blue. Black and... green. But it's a 5-drop. That's really what matters. And it starts with D. Draykeeper. Let's see. Cunning Strike. Death Frenzy. Diregraph Rebirth. Aha! Draykeeper. It's in Chinese. Do I have an English version? I do. I have one English copy of this card. I think the people that I play with would rather I play with cards they can actually read. Druid's Call, that's definitely... I might have it. Probably not. That's from Odyssey? Yeah, Odyssey. Odyssey was the set that came out like right before I started playing. I started playing around in Mirrodin. So Odyssey was not long before that. That's in green? Yeah, green. And it's a 2-drop. I'm thinking I most likely don't have this one, but it's worth a check on the off chance I do. Druid's Call. Keep having to check to make sure I'm reading it right. Deliverance. Nah, Duel for Dominance is the next thing after that. Whew. Unfortunate. That would have been pretty good. Ugh. Okay, what next? Hazel, Rotbloom, Liege of the Hollows. That is from Weatherlight. Criminy. Actually kind of want to look the price of that card up because I remember seeing that before. Liege of the Hollows. Liege of the Hollows. Might wind up buying a copy just because it would be good. Liege of the Hollows. MTG. Okay, it is a... how much does it cost? It's a 4-drop. It's a 3/4 spirit, and when it dies, each player may pay any amount of mana. Then each player creates a number of 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens equal to the amount of mana they paid this way. Shopping. $6.70. $6.20. $12.99. Yeah. It seems like the price isn't awful. I'd pay $10 for that. Finding it's the problem. Like finding it in a card shop would be a problem because it's from Weatherlight, and Weatherlight was a million years ago, so those cards are harder to find. Shambler, have that one. Nut Collector. Ooh. It's from Dominaria Remastered. I bought quite a bit of that, but it's a mythic, and pretty much every mythic I pulled out of Dominaria Remastered was a dang Lyra Dawnbringer. My rares. They're probably in this box. Oh. Okay. This box, which I hope has my rares and my lands in it. It is N. K L M M. That's O, so that's M. Nut. Be at the end. Nope. Unfortunate. No Nut Collector. Nut Collector seems pretty good. I would also probably be willing to buy a copy of that card if it's below $10. Alright. Ravenous Squirrel, have that one. Scurry Oak. Yeah, evolve. Whenever one or more 1/1 counters are put on Scurry Oak. One or more is important. Because one or more does not include, well, it wouldn't stack. Squirrel Mob. How is Squirrel Mob not in this deck? It's in one of the other decks. It was in MH2. Hell, if it's in MH2, I might have one. To grab the rare box again. This must be S. Squirrel Mob. Springleaf Avenger. Staff of Domination. I skipped Q in there, so I must not have Squirrel Mob. It's possible. Ugh. Let's do some picture matching, I guess. Oh, there's Yavimia. I know I had one in Chinese, but I'm not sure if I have one in English. Oh, look at that. It's, Chitter Skitter or whatever that artifact was called. I have one in Chinese, too. Didn't even know. Couldn't read it. Looks like a Hydra of some sort. Not what I'm looking for right now. There's another Urborg in Chinese. Man. Karmic Guide in Chinese. I know that one. No way. I have a grief. Too bad it's in Chinese. Everything. Alright. Whoa. No squirrel mob in there, but I found Yavimia Cradle of Growth, I believe is the name of the thingy. The land that I pulled out of there in Chinese. I have a couple foils in here that are in Chinese. Maybe it's there. Nope, just a playset of Primeval Titans. Bought somebody's collection out while I was over there, and they had all sorts of good stuff. But it was all in Chinese. Oh, well, not all of it, but a lot of it was in Chinese. So. Ooh, do I put a Cavern of Souls in the deck? That sounds way too mean. I probably should. Alright. Squirrel Sanctuary. Squirrel Sovereign. That's funny. Squirrel Wrangler. Out of Prophecy. Yikes. Also have to sacrifice lands to use it. Underworld Hermit. Oops. When Underworld Hermit enters, create a number of 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens equal to your devotion to black. Well, it's at least 2, because it has 2 black pips in its mana cost. I had a Chinese Verdant Command. I will put that in the deck. Looking for a green card here. The stack that I set down already. Other stack. Go. Just had that thing. just saw it. Because I recognized the picture. There it is. Verdant Command, 2-drop. Choose 2. It's an instant. Target player creates 2 tapped 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. Counter target loyalty ability of a planeswalker. Exile target card from a graveyard. Or target player gains 3 life. Those are some pretty decent choices for only 2 mana. I would like it if one of them was like artifact hate, like destroy target artifact or enchantment or something like that. But there's not much that can counter the loyalty ability of planeswalkers, so that's a very interesting choice to have. And having access to it is definitely better than not. That's supposed to be in there. Okay. I don't think this deck is finished, but I also seem to have gone down to 1 viewer, and that would be my other account, just making sure nothing goes horribly wrong with the video capture. So I think for now, I might just pack it in. Yeah, I'll look for one more card. I'm going to look for this Underworld Hermit. He's in black. Where's the other lid? There it is. Oh, 6-drop. 6-drop. Crap, 6-drop is an overflow. 6-drop in black is an overflow. I have a couple. Oh, I'm too far away. It's probably not picking me up. 6-drop black was in my overflow because I've got too many dang black cards. Black used to be my favorite color for Magic. It is no longer my favorite, but I like running it as a secondary or a tertiary because it has a lot of fun supporting things that it tends to want to do, like murder your opponent's creatures, and that's pretty cool. U. So it's after T. That's how the alphabet work. Underworld Hermit, there you are. 6-drop. When Underworld Hermit enters the battlefield, create a number of 1/1 green scroll creature tokens equal to your devotion to black. Unfortunately, now I am not going to know what that Chinese card is behind it because it was the same thing. Okay. Let's count up how many cards we have that we want to run and then make some cuts. I think I have enough sleeves in here. count real quick. Got some dragon shields that I bought for just such an occasion of making a deck. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 60, 61, 70, 71, 80, 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 99 with 2 extras. Gonna do orange sleeves today. Can't really see them over there. They're orange. But we're gonna count cards first to make sure we don't put too many cards in, because that would be silly of me. I have so many mana rocks. That's great. I think that's the proper number of mana rocks. Might want to cut for one more, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I was going to count all the cards first. This is utility. There's everything in this pile right now. Criminy. That's utility, that's utility, that's a land. That's a creature. Utility, creature, creature, creature. I think those are both repeat creatures as well. Okay, let's find these repeats. Daggerfang Duo and Honored Drayleader, I think, are the two that I need to, pull out. Where'd the other one go? Did I put it on the bottom? There it is. I missed it. Okay. Does not feel like there's very many creatures in this deck. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 creatures. So that's about a quarter of the deck as creatures. I think with the amount of tokens we're generating, that should be okay. And there was a foiled Treetop Sentries, so 28 creatures. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 28, 29, 30, 31 non-creatures. So that's 59 with creatures and utility. 59. 63 with 36 lands makes 99. Wow. Okay. I apparently just nailed it. That was apparently perfect. I stopped at the perfect time. I'll see how it plays. I feel like some of the cards don't need to be in here. For example, Stargaze. I feel like I could probably cut that. I just want to kind of play it a little bit and see how it goes. Should be fine. So I guess all that's left is to start sleeving. I do need to grab a couple more lands, so I didn't put very much ramp in, but we'll see. The Squirrels are kind of cheap, so I might not even need any ramp. I'll just play the deck a little bit, and if it's absolutely terrible, then I'll take it apart on stream again and alter it. So should see how the mana curve looks as well. Again, most of the stuff here is pretty cheap, so I'm guessing 3 is going to be where I have most of my costs, but I'll need to put some notes on the Chinese cards to tell me and remind me and tell other people what they actually say. But I don't usually play with a lot of like really picky people. I usually play with friends, and it's like, oh yeah, you lived in China for a while, so it makes sense that some of your cards are going to be in Chinese. Wilds in there. That's a good one. Parallel Lives. Wahoo. I hope I have one more copy of Parallel Lives. I may have put one of my copies of Parallel Lives in the Abzen deck, and it does not need a Parallel Lives in it. I need to take it out. If that's the case. But some fun cards in here. I'm excited for the ability to play Dark Tutelage. I think the draw power from it's great. I'm starting to get kind of toasty down here too. For the common good, I foresee it being a pretty fun card to use. That's a 1-drop, actually. Scavenger's Talent is also a 1-drop. Nice. And so is Skull Clamp. Might want to put like an Ashnod's Altar or something like that in here too. I might be able to take out one of the other mana rocks, one of the worst ones, like, honestly, there's only, I mean, I guess Talisman? I guess. Talisman's Resilience is fine. Most of the Talismans are fine. Paying a life for 1 mana of any color, well, not 1 mana, but 1 mana in your commander's color identity is usually pretty decent. Scroll Nest is definitely going to be fun. We'll see about Moldervine Reclamation. Shatterstorm might be kind of hard to play during the early game, but later on it'll be really good when I can just drop 4 or 5 3-drops and then that. Chitter Spitter. That's it. Chitter Spitter. Token generator. I feel like that's going to be one of the most dangerous cards in this deck. Grace's Judgment. Nice. Destruction. Shamanic Revelation. I don't actually have a board wipe in this deck. That might be a problem. And I will revisit that at a later time. Again, I'm running black in the deck, so that means I have good access to good board wipes. So that's all of the utility stuff. Let's get the creatures next. Valley Rot Collar. It's going to be a good one. I foresee Hazel's Brewmaster being one of the best. I might want to run a Sylvan Tutor just to search her out, but the problem is that card is expensive. I mean, I have one, but it's going to... Generally, how good a deck is determined by how much you spent on the deck. Obviously, there are exceptions, but I want to keep the value of my decks roughly equal so that if I'm playing with somebody that didn't bring their deck or something, then they don't have to worry about one deck being horribly overpowered compared to the other ones. With the exception of my mono red burn deck. I will eventually be deconstructing that deck on stream and rebuilding it a little bit. I do want the theme of the deck to still be horrible mono red burn, but there are more cards that we can put in that deck instead of the ones that are in there now. The only non-squirrel allowed in here, other than the cat. The cat's just too good to not run. Lets me sacrifice my creatures in order to forage instead of sacrificing my actual food tokens. That I feel like food tokens are actually kind of hard to make. I don't know why. I feel like they shouldn't be hard to make. But for what's in here right now, I think it's good. Put one of them in the wrong pile. Odd Acorn Gang might find itself cut at some point. I'm just not sure about it. I think the other options for commanders were far better. Shatterfang is silly. So is Camellia. Those two are great. But I do think Hazel's going to be a little bit better in general. Just slip Hazel right into that green sleeve that Egret came out of. I like to keep my commander in a different color sleeve just so if I accidentally shuffle it in, then it's easy to find. Draykeeper. Its ability is pretty good too. Can, oh, you know what, let me take it out of the case because it's just glaring all over the camera. You can pay 4 with a black. Squirrels you control get +1/+0 and gain Menace. So if I don't have Camilla out, then I still have another way to give my squirrels Menace. This deck is very much more in green than it is in black, and I don't think that's a bad thing. As much as I like running black in my decks, I just like green more. Three. Put these in. We've got a soul ring. We've got a talisman. Got a Golgari signet. And we've got an arcane signet. Might actually switch the arcane signet out for a higher cost mana rock, like Basalt Monolith. Is that the name of the card? Gonna look it up now. Basalt Monolith doesn't untap during your untap step. No. It's something like that, though. Maybe it's Thran Dynamo. Thran Dynamo. Did I spell... Oh, I missed the R. That's why I can't find it, because I can't spell. Maybe that would help. Thran Dynamo. Yep, 4-drop, tap to add 3. I would probably swap out, I'd probably swap out Arcane Signet for Thran Dynamo. There's the Yavimia, Cradle of Growth. It is. I am calling it the right name, right? Yeah. Yavimia, Cradle of Growth. Might be Yavimaya, but I like Yavimia. Alright. Carrying on. 3-Tree City. Shifting Woodland. Mudflat Village. Oak Hollow Village. Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. Overgrown Tomb. I might cut Tainted Wood. I think it's fine though. Bajuka Bog. You love Bajuka Bog. Command Tower. I love the art for that Command Tower, actually. Path of Ancestry. Terramorphic Expanse. I'm gonna look for the fetch land in green-black. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I'm sure I have it. I pulled almost every single fetch land when I opened one of my boxes of MH2. Haunted Mire. Jungle Hollow. Jungle Hollow might also get axed. One life isn't great. I think there's a black and green Surveil land that I would rather run in there. Twilight Mire, that one's great. I love the filter land. Viridescent Bog might also be one of the lands that I would cut just because it's not good as your first land drop. Backwoods. Might also cut Grim Backwoods just because I have other ways to sack creatures. Exotic Orchard. Exotic Orchard can stay for now. Swarmyard. That one can stay because it regenerates stuff. Necroblossom Snarl. Also nice. Woodland Cemetery. And Temple of Malady. Temple of Milady. Okay. I'm looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lands. Do a little swap-a-rooney here. I'm gonna look for some pretty full art lands instead of not pretty full art lands they gave me in the deck. Because they're silly. Okay. Plenty of the full art lands in my packs, so I'm gonna use them. Like to do is, since this is a very Bloomburrow themed deck, is each of the lands has a different art that corresponds with the season. So I'd like to get one of each. And if they're foil, great. If they're not foil, oh well. I'm okay with either. I will prefer the foil one over the non-foil. Like that one. So that one. Another once over. Alright. Couldn't find the Winter Forest, which is unfortunate. I have a feeling it would be super great. Alright. Just need to sleeve up these lands and the deck is done. Since I only need 11, I think I'll do 5 swamps and 6 forests. Because I think forest is slightly more important than swamp in the deck. Largely, it won't matter if I can get my mana fixing out, but until then, I think it's good to have a couple more forests. A little bit more access to green mana is probably better for the deck. And again, once I've played it a little bit and decided if that's a good idea or not, I can always change my mind later. It's not like I have to keep this deck together forever. Alright, and that's it. Took, where's my timer? 3 hours to make a deck, but I think that this would be perfectly functional to use. Mana curve does look like it's around 2 or 3, which is kind of where I wanted it for this type of deck. This is going to be a little bit more mid-rangey, I think. We're going wide with a couple tall creatures, but we're not really too focused on tall creatures. So, there we have it. Hazel of the Root Bloom. Reimagined from what they had in the box, because they had too many other creature types in the box. And I just wanted squirrels. So, this just keeps falling over. I wanted to have a nice, pretty, picture-perfect moment at the end. Deck just wants to fall apart. Okay, we're done. Next time, something different. God dang it. Something different still has to do with Magic. And maybe I'll rip apart one of my EDH decks that's been together for a long time or something like that. I think that would be pretty fun to visit one of those decks, but I like to rip apart precons and try to improve on them. So, if you are watching this after it went out live, then thanks for watching, and try to catch a stream next time if you have the time, because I would love to have more input from my audience. So, thanks for watching. Next time will be next time. Goodbye.